Micah, and then you guys do it, right? So you don't go far away, all right? You stay right here, and then you try not to cross this line because you guys got to learn the distance, right? So you go, now hit it to me. See? See? That's what you guys do, all right? And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to play catch. Watch out, Kai. Back up. So, yeah, it's like ping pong, right? Ready? Like that. Ready? You got it now? That's how you guys do it. Now go at it. Try. And you don't have to hit hard. It just bounces off of it, okay? So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the emotional intelligence that's required and what it takes when you're investing in cryptocurrency. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michael James. I've been invested in the cryptocurrency for over 7 years, and I was able to take a small investment of $40 bi-weekly out of my paycheck while working at Sam's Club, and I made it into multiple 7 figures, and I'm positioned to actually perform even better than that in this coming alt and bull season. Now, one of the things that you should listen to me, is that I was able to teach other individuals how to duplicate my success. The reason why my success is duplicatable, because it's practical and it's not selling you hope, it's teaching you how to develop the mindset of an investor and understanding that the ultimate goal of investing is to multiply dollars. How do I do that? I do that with the system that I call my 3C method, which is clarity, confidence, and conviction. Now, a lot of people like to use fancy terms, but I also understand that having systems helps people understand things better, right? So what I mean by clarity, confidence, and conviction, right, is one of the people that I study, and this is one of the most important things that I think people need to understand first, is that if you're trying to learn how to be successful at investing, me as a former athlete, one of the things that I really pride myself on, or it's something that just clicked in my head, that when I was trying to learn how to play basketball, what did I do? I started studying people who were successful at basketball. I would go to watch the older AAU guys play, see what they were doing. When I was in junior high school, I would go and watch the high school varsity team play and see how they played so I could get a feel of the speed of the game. Now, the reason why this is relevant, when you start your journey, the clarity that you need to have is the identity of what it is that you are as an investor, right? Are you someone who's just in the short term? Are you someone who's in the long term? Now, I'll tell you the answer to that, no matter who you are. And it boils down to Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, where he says that you need at least 10,000 hours in order to consider yourself a professional or a savant in any venue. What that means is roughly 5 years. And the thing about investing or anything in life is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Or the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Now, here's what I want you guys to start thinking about. What does all that even mean, Mike? We don't know. We don't care. Where's the money at, right? Well, let me tell you something about investing. There is no shortcuts. The shortcuts is where people get victimized and scammed. The majority of most scams is always trying to get their target avatar who has this idea of getting rich quick. My mindset is I didn't want to get rich quick. I want to get rich for sure, right? See, me, I'm a conservative, aggressive investor, right? So what does this mean? What are the 3 C's? Clarity, confidence, and conviction. What is clarity? Warren Buffett, even though he does not like Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Now, I have my own opinions and own takes on Warren Buffett, right? One, he's like 95, 96 years old. He's already made his nut. He doesn't have to adopt or embrace anything new. He's already achieved financial success. You don't waste your brain space trying to lose something that's more than likely going to take money from you than it is to give back. And you have to understand Berkshire Hathaway, its job is to provide revenue and profits for their shareholders. So I don't want to get too much into Warren Buffett, but I want to tell you, Warren Buffett says this one thing. Well, he says a bunch of things. The one that I like the most is that there's 2 rules to investing. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Now, what does that mean? And if you're somebody who's ever paid attention to Benjamin Graham and his book, The Intelligent Investor, is that you want to focus on capital preservation with exposure to capital appreciation. That's what Warren Buffett was saying, invest in things that you understand, right? See, the idea of starting slow, that you're going to, in order to be good at anything, you're going to have to be able to invest 10,000 hours. You want to become a good investor, right? Come in with the mindset that I'm going to have to learn this in about 5 years, right? If you want to be good at something. And then how are you going to learn? You can leverage time by partnering or learning from somebody who had skin in the game and actually has proven success in the avenue that they're talking about, right? Me, I've been posting videos about this stuff for over 5 years, right? I've been investing in the market for 7, going on 8 here soon. The thing that I want you guys to start thinking about is how you do anything is how you do everything. Focus on capital appreciation. See, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. So that's why we focus on capital appreciation. This is why in the first step of the 3C method, we focus on clarity, right? Understanding the emotional intelligence of yourself. How are you on the inside? Do you have a lot of turmoil? Do you have a lot of emotions? Do you have kids, right, that you have to focus on? See, the reason why this is important, because not everybody is in the same position. This is what you need to understand about when you go out there and you start following these influencers and things like that. You don't know how they cash flow themselves. You don't know how they make their money. You don't know how much they have to spend. You don't know their cost of living, right? Somebody can have a Lambo sleeping on an air mattress because it's easier to make money on the internet when you've been BSing and you just get a Lambo. See, many of you think that things is what wealth looks like. Wealth looks different from person to person. Why? Because some people like green shirts, some people like black shirts. Some people like to wear basketball shorts, some people like cargo shorts. Some people like skinny jeans, some people like baggy jeans, right? When you realize that every individual and every person has different personalities, that's the more you will start understanding how you can get clarity in your mind on who you are as an investor. Now, let's close the door on clarity by summarizing how I want you to do with an exercise. I want you to either, if you're inside of my free community, the Visionary Village Starter, in one of the columns to the left, you will see that I have invest in tools. There's a risk tolerance quiz in there. Also, I created a GPT that if you just ask it, and that's also available for free inside of the Visionary Village, right? It's called my 3C Coach GPT. And what I did was take all of my strategies and put it in one. And as with anything, this is for educational purposes. I'm not qualified to give you financial advice because, one, I don't know you personally. Just like I was saying before, I don't know if you have kids. I don't know what your bills are like. I can't tell you how much money to put in because if I do, it doesn't matter if you lose or win or not. One of the things that you need to understand is that if you're somebody who's anxious people have unrealistic expectations, right? Now, there's only a 50-50 chance on most things in life. You either win or you lose, right? Now, even if you don't win big, you don't have to win by 20 points. You can win by 5, but it still ticks a tally in the marker. One of the things I want you to understand, right, is that when it comes to having clarity, you can see clearly. What's your risk tolerance? Am I aggressive? Am I moderate? Or am I conservative, right? If you take that risk tolerance quiz, you'll find out, right? Me, I'm an aggressive conservative. And one of the things I want you to know is you have to be real with yourself. Because if you start BSing yourself, you're going to victimize yourself. So if you know that you're a little reckless and careless and you're a degen or you just a crash out, answer the questions in a crash out way. Because then what it will do, it will give you an honest assessment on what you should do and what you should expect, right? Because if you're a crash out, see, you can give both of us $10,000, right? And the way I invest $10,000 and the way someone else will invest $10,000 will build 2 different results. The one thing that I can guarantee, though, with the $10,000, I wouldn't lose it all today. But there's somebody who's willing to gamble and put all the chips in and maybe turn $10,000 into $100,000. And then that leads to the next question, is if you did that, how long would it take? All right? But if we're both patiently waiting by identifying if we're a long-term or a short-term investor, that's how we can actually truly assess what it is that we're doing, right? So once you have the clarity, right, this leads into the easiest part of the entire video here. Once you have clarity of, I understand cryptocurrency, or I have an idea that cryptocurrency is volatile, we're in a digital era, we're becoming more digital and not less digital. Like once you start understanding stuff like that, you will be able to understand the risk that's involved. Everything is volatile. Everything has risk, right? Me being out here right now, I run the risk of getting pooped on by a bird. I run the risk of maybe my kid getting hurt and I have to do something. And then what should I do in order to make sure that that risk doesn't happen to the kids? Just like at the beginning of this video, I had to bring them in closer so they can enjoy playing the pickleball together even more. Now, with that being said, everything has risk. Now that you have the clarity, right, we have to work on the confidence. What is it that gives anyone or anything confidence, right? It's understanding what you're in, right? Now, as I ended that last clarity section with, is that I want you to understand that once you understand that the market is volatile, these are speculative assets, and now you need to understand this next thing, is that many of these cryptocurrencies, there's over 4 to 5 million. And now with AI, a lot of people make cryptocurrencies at the drop of a hat. One of the things that you need to understand is that with that being said, right, is that you need to understand that, what are you guys gonna do, play some basketball? Anyhow, so you need to understand that once you have clarity, that builds on your confidence. Now that you have clarity on what it is that you're investing in. See, when you put your money in, there's a lot of people, when they invest with me, they put their money in, the market pulls back 10, 15%, right? When the market pulls back 10, 15%, they're like, the market's down right now. And me, somebody who's been in it for a long time, I always tell them, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. It can drop 70, 80, 90%. And they're like, what? What? Yeah. And I was like, 15% isn't bad. See, what people don't understand is that sometimes you're gonna get 10% returns every week. Like right now, if you go and look at a 90-day chart on something, right? Go to coinmarketcap.com and just go look at the performance of Chainlink over 90 days, right? When you look at this, you're gonna see that it's up almost 100%. What people don't realize, that didn't just happen overnight. This is the thing that you need to understand. You got the clarity on the market now, right? This is what I want you to realize, is that everything that happened in 90 days, the end result was a 100% return, right? And now this isn't common results. I know people like to react. Should I go get Chainlink right now? Right? The answer is more or less yes or no if you know me. I'm long-term on Chainlink. Like Chainlink has a tremendous upside. One of the things that I want you guys to consider though is just look at that chart. When you see Chainlink at 90%, this is the most important thing here, right? Is that Chainlink, when it went 90% in the 90 days, right? It went up 20%. Then it was 15%. Then it was 30%, right? And it wasn't like it just went like that in a night, right? So a lot of people always want to know timeline, right? And then if you're somebody's like, well, should I take profits now? It's at 30%. You would have missed 70% return, right? And you just chill. This is why I'm always telling people about looking for macroeconomics that makes the market bullish, that can help build your confidence, right? So now that you have the clarity, what I want you to focus on, right, is that now you have clarity and confidence. You have the confidence because you have clarity, right? Now, once you have confidence, right, the thing that you need to understand the most is that, all right, is like the thing you need to understand the most is that confidence comes from having clarity. Confidence comes from understanding what you're investing in, right? And now that you know the identity, whether it be a long-term investor, see, the thing is that if you look at Chainlink a year from today, right, and we don't know the future, when you see that it's up 200-300%, right? And then you're somebody who's like, when is this going to go up? Many of you have the mindset that you will fumble the bag because you're somebody who sold and exited a position while allowing it to mature. Now, the fine line is, the reason why I use that is that most people need to hold their assets a minimum of a year. All that panicking in the first 30 days, the first 90 days, all of that stuff is too premature. You need to slow down and realistically understand that you're investing in a market that is volatile, right? Which means even the downswings, when it goes 70, 80%, the upside of 500% is what you're actually truly investing in, right? So now, the more and more you start to understand that the confidence is built from clarity, this is where we move into conviction. Why is conviction important in an investment strategy? As I said previously, that the market is volatile. And if you know the market is volatile, it is a strength. A lot of people laugh because they don't understand risk management, right? This is why the video is about emotional intelligence, right? And then the more emotional intelligence you have, when the market corrects 70, 80%. And this is why when I work with you and we build your portfolio, I try to teach you to focus on projects that have a strong narrative and it has merited the support that merit. It has merit, sorry. It's focus on projects that has a strong narrative and then it has the merit backing why you put your money there, right? So now, what does that mean? A strong narrative could be something like real world assets, tokenization, right? And I'm gonna just keep it simple with those. You can see that on the news. Only invest in things that you can start to understand. One of the things is following smart money. When you see people like Jamie Dimon, Larry Fink from BlackRock, right? And then you start seeing like maybe even like the government's getting involved in things like that. And these really smart, successful people start talking about things, right? When they're investing in stuff, right? One of the things that you need to understand is following the money and then understanding that you're in the right place at the right time. And you got that from your clarity and your confidence, right? Now you have the confidence. When the market pulls back, Rockefeller says, always invest when there's blood in the streets, even if the blood is your own. What that means, right, is that when you invest your money and the market is down, if you invest it with the clarity and the confidence in the project with a strong narrative and the merit, right? Merit comes from verifiable news, right? When I tell you that Bitcoin and Ethereum and governments are using it, you'll be able to see that Fidelity, BlackRock's best performing ETF, has Bitcoin and Ethereum. When you see the news and they're talking about we're investing in Ethereum, when Wyoming launched this frontier stablecoin, the 7 blockchains that they put that on is verifiable. When you see the 42 million cars on Avalanche, when you see the title and deeds in Bergen County on Avalanche, that is merit-based news. Why? Because you see the government, the DMV, right, where deeds and car titles are at, are actively using Avalanche, right? And that means that they are using it. You're no longer speculating, right? And then so now that you're no longer speculating, now you have the conviction that when Avalanche pulls back from the $30 that it is today and it goes to $15, that is an opportunity. That's what Rockefeller meant by the opportunity is when you invest when blood is in the streets, even if it's your own. Now, you need to have conviction when you invest in these things because that's where the biggest opportunity is at. When you first start investing, here's it is. When you get the clarity and understand, let's say, and I'm going to finish this video with this example here. When you have the clarity on what you're going to invest in, I'm going to invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, Avalanche, right? And I have $10,000 to invest. What you would do is if you get on the portfolio strategy call with me, what we'll do is we'll find your risk tolerance, right? And then based on your risk tolerance, we'll decide how to allocate your funds. Then we'll set up an average and in position to prepare you that when the market corrects, how to actually look at your portfolio in order to allocate new funds when you get it, right? You may have $10,000 to invest, but if something that you've done the due diligence, that you have clarity, confidence, and conviction on, when the market corrects and you'll come in like, man, you know what? Actually, I had an extra $5,000. Where would I invest this at? Well, you would invest it in these projects based on where the most opportunity is at. And how do you know that? That's something I'll do another video for. That's something you can join in the community and I will talk about. Or what you can do is either get into my 12-month coaching program where I'll personally help you and hold your hand along the way and build your portfolio with you for a year. Or you can actually do 6 months with a mentorship with me, or you can actually join and jump on. If you only want to just have me set up your portfolio and have you figure it out, I do that in an hour. That's what the one-on-one portfolio strategy call is. So the thing is that you're investing, one, paying for my time in order for me to help you have the best opportunity in the market. That's how you have to look at it. It takes money to make some money, and I'm just going to be real with you. You're going to have to pay me, and it's not much in the grand scheme of things on what you're going to get back in return. But I want to finish this off with understanding that once you understand that now you have the $10,000, you already know where you want to invest, you understand the 3C method, right? Now all you have to do is wash, rinse, and repeat the strategy. Once you have your portfolio, you only focus in the things where your money is at. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you want to know where anything's at, you have any constructive criticism, any feedback that you want to give, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And if you have somebody who you're trying to help understand why you're investing in crypto, I want to make content that's actually digestible for people to understand. And this is on other platforms, depending on where you're watching it at. Be sure to follow, subscribe, hit like, and share this with somebody as well, guys. I'm Michael James, the founder of Fourth Eye Visions, and I really think that you guys are in the right place at the right time, and you need to understand that we are in the fourth industrial revolution, and my content, and I want to help you not just survive in the fourth industrial revolution, but I want you to thrive in it.